Warning. The views said in this video by Legend Mac are his and his only. Mihawk is still Yonko level and the world's greatest swordsman. And this has nothing to do with power scaling. Like this video and subscribe for more One Piece content like the one you are already watching. And stick to the end of this video to see why the world's greatest swordsman is a fraud. Viewers' discretion is advised.
So how do I put this in the right words? I think I got it. Mihawk is a bitch.
Well, let's be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it.
Okay, let me calm down. Mihawk is definitely not a bitch. I won't say he's a bitch, but I'll keep it real with you guys. When the warlord system got abolished and Mihawk looked super excited that he's finally gonna get chased again, I was hyped, as every One Piece fan was. And then his bounty gets revealed to be 3.5 billion berry, guys. It got me even more hyped because it was higher than 3 Yonkos we have seen. Blackbeard initially post time skip was 2.2 billion berries when he was a Yonko. Now, of course, he has a nearly 4 billion berry bounty, but I'm talking about as soon as he became a Yonko, it was like 2.2 billion berry. Then we have to understand that Luffy and Buggy have 3 billion berry bounties. I think Buggy's like 3.1 billion, to be honest. So the fact that this guy has bounties over 2 current Yonko and just 3 Yonkos in general in the history of Yonkos, and like the hype is real. Honestly, like I gotta keep it real. Like Mihawk has crazy amount of hype, and then you have to understand his skill as a swordsman being better than Shanks. They highlight that to exactly say those statements by Brand New. He said Mihawk's skill as a swordsman even surpasses red hair Shanks. And we're looking at Shanks. This is the icing on the cake. Because Shanks, we just seen that man do a crazy divine departure that knocked out a 3 billion berry man and Eustace Kid and his vice captain that defeated a worst generation member in Hawkins and was on the rooftop and doing crazy things on the rooftop. So I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. Shanks, we already know he's a GOAT. We already know, we've seen the things he's done with Green Bull, with Kid and Killer. Like, we're seeing Shanks do things, and I respect it. But the thing with Mihawk is he has so much hype, and the icing on the cake was the whole swordsman skill better than Shanks. And also, I know the fact that people are going to be like, okay, there's the mystery of him being the Marine Hunter, makes me think of his past and how he probably has a crazy backstory, which I think this chapter, yes, I know I'm saying Mihawk's a fraud, but this chapter is probably great for Mihawk's character. It's great for Mihawk's character because Mihawk now has some mystery towards him. Like, what is his past? What is really went down in his past? The fact that I'm even saying the statement is really more so to say that Mihawk is not the guy we think he was, yo. He's actually more deeper and is more to his character. Now, I do want to say this, like, let's be honest here. The reason why I made this video is because the controversial statements he made in chapter 1082. He said, do you really want us to go pick fights with Red Hair, Blackbeard, and Straw Hat? Mind you, you have to understand, Straw Hat, it was the guy he saw in the East Blue and Marine Ford. And he said, like, pretty much the Red Hair, like, okay, oh, I feel bad, everything, but I have to go all out, whatever. Red Hair is the guy who literally called a has-been. And Blackbeard, we know he did not ever look at Blackbeard like a guy. Blackbeard used to be a part of the warlord system like Mihawk. So the fact that he said that statement, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, I do think that those 3 characters he mentioned are like 3 of the top 5 strongest characters in the One Piece story currently. So I don't like think his statement was a crazy statement. The reason why there's a reason why they're Yonko, guys. Like, they all have the respect in the One Piece verse if we're keeping it all the way real. Now, another reason why this whole Mihawk fraud thing came to fruition was because in the last chapter, like, Buggy pretty much calls him out. He says, how can you call yourself pirates with the schemes you guys are coming up with? And he even says, what did you guys, don't forget what you guys wanted to be. Like, hinting that, we all know that Crocodile, you guys ever see that cover story? Crocodile wanted to become the Pirate King. That was confirmation right there. The fact that he went up against Whitebeard in Marineford War, like, we all know that he wants to become Pirate King. But we never had no idea that Mihawk wants to become Pirate King, but he's hinting at it. Buggy's hinting at Mihawk originally wanted the dream of becoming Pirate King, and that probably was crushed. Now, I do want to say this. I will say this, the fact that he was at Goldie Roger's execution, like, there are hints that we've seen in the story of him wanting to become the Pirate King, like the fact that he was at the execution. But this is the first time Mihawk has had shaky moments, and I'm gonna go deep. This is a deep dive. This is a deep dive of Mihawk's character. So if you're a Mihawk fan or if you're a Mihawk hater, you're gonna love this video because we're actually really gonna open the book on Mihawk. And this video has nothing to do with the future, and if, oh, it comes back, oh, Mihawk does some crazy things, it doesn't really matter because this video has nothing to do with power scaling. I'm telling you guys right now, this video all has to do with Mihawk as a character. So stay tuned, stick to the end of the video, guys, because we're about to see some crazy stuff be discussed in this video. Now, the first time we see Mihawk is in the Baratier arc, And he gets a lot of hype. The way he just destroyed Don Krieg's entire fleet, the way he comes in there and pretty much bodies Roronoa Zoro, the way that Redleg Zeph is just hyping up Mihawk like the world's greatest swordsman. He got a lot of hype. Let's keep it real. And rightfully, he deserves it. He's the top of the swordsmanship. And we all know Pirate's main weapon in the real world is swords. So the fact that Oda made this guy a swordsman and the world's greatest swordsman means that Oda loves Mihawk. That's a fact right there. Oda loves Mihawk. You guys understand. Yes, Oda loves Shanks because he also uses a sword, but Oda loves Mihawk. The fact that he made him the world's greatest swordsman. And the fact that Wano is Oda's favorite arc, and the samurai, and there's a whole lot of things that you could do with this whole Mihawk and the love Oda has for his character. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about, there's hints at Mihawk wanting to become the Pirate King, because Mihawk told Luffy, when Luffy's because Zoro's goal is to be the world's greatest swordsman. Mihawk loved that shit. He loved it. He asked Luffy, what's your goal? Because Luffy he wanted to smoke with Mihawk too, to protect Zoro. And Luffy replies, my goal is the Pirate King. And Mihawk's like, yeah, that's actually harder than even becoming the world's greatest swordsman. Now, my whole thing is this. Yes, there's a logical answer of like, okay, being the Pirate King, you need an amazing crew with you. You need to find the road poneglyphs. You got to go against the Marines, the world government, the other pirates. Yes, we know there's so much logical reasons why being the Pirate King is so hard. Getting to Laugh Tale, getting that One Piece treasure. But I'm trying to say this. Is this a hint at Mihawk having another dream? The fact that he says that being the Pirate King is harder than becoming the world's greatest swordsman. And I will say this. I don't have a problem with him saying that, but it seemed like he tried to be the Pirate King. He tried to do both. He tried to be the world's greatest swordsman. He tried to be the Pirate King, and he failed at one of them. And that's my headcanon from hinting. There's hints at it. Now, obviously, I'm not going to jump on the sword and say, oh, Mihawk is trying to become the Pirate King, but I'm saying there is hints to it, and that it does lead an open discussion. Now, the next time we see Mihawk is another moment of like, thinking about it. Mihawk said to Shanks, pretty much, it's not Mihawk said to Shanks, it was Shanks saying to Mihawk, are you here to challenge me? And Mihawk reply was pretty badass. I don't challenge one-arm has-beens. Like, he's pretty much talking shit. He's saying, Shanks, you're not that guy anymore. You're not him. This is a pretty cool moment for Mihawk, and he's talking to the Haki King. Let's be honest, Shanks' Haki throughout the One Piece chapters, over 1,000 chapters, has been hyped up, and we've seen that recently with Divine Departure. We've seen that recently with Green Bull, but that's who he's saying that to. But you have to understand, I didn't look at Mihawk talking shit. That's natural. If you're the world's greatest swordsman, you better be talking shit. I looked at Shanks' question. Are you here to challenge me? You only challenge someone who you believe is above. Like, you only challenge someone. Like, I'm not going to go challenge someone that's below me. I'm here to challenge you, even though I know you're below me. That's not the narrative. You only, and everyone knows this is a true fact, you only challenge people that are above you. So when Shanks said, are you here to challenge me? Like, we all know Shanks is a Yonko. He's recently became a Yonko. So Shanks may be saying, okay, I recently became a Yonko. We had our duels back in the day. Are you here to challenge me? Okay, you could give that side of it, but there is also another side where you could say that maybe Shanks was beating Mihawk before he lost his arm. And that's why Brand New says he's the world's greatest swordsman, even surpassing Shanks. Like, the fact that Brand New is pretty much saying Shanks is the second world's greatest swordsman. Was he the first world's greatest swordsman when he had two arms? And you know, in the data book, they said that Mihawk was looking for a swordsman that even surpasses Shanks. So all I'm saying is, this has nothing to do with power scaling, but did Shanks have that title of world's greatest swordsman before he lost an arm? And that will be even a crazier narrative. Now, of course, in the end of Marineford War, he dodged the smoke with Shanks again. But I'm gonna keep it real, it's not that bad. If I was Mihawk, I'm gonna be honest with you, you agreed to fight Whitebeard, the Whitebeard pirates. You didn't agree to fight the red-haired Shanks. Like, that's the real reason. If anything, Mihawk didn't even want to fight the Whitebeard pirates. It was mandatory. All the warlords would have to fight us to lose their position. And Mihawk wants to be a warlord. He doesn't want nobody bothering him. He's a proud loner. And as a proud loner myself, I have to say this, yo. I respect that logic of like, yo, I don't want no one to bother me. I want to just do my thing and relax, and I'm confident in my skill. Mihawk's very confident in skill. So I don't think he was scared for dodging Shanks. But I do want to say this. He has no reason to fight Shanks. I will defend Mihawk in this stance. If he fights Shanks and he loses, he lost to a guy with one arm as the world's greatest swordsman. It's the ultimate embarrassment. If he fights Shanks and he wins, you beat the guy after he lost an arm. Are you truly going to be happy with that win? And it's really a lose-lose situation for Mihawk. I'll have to keep it real with you guys. It's a lose-lose situation. So I have no problem with Mihawk actually not even fighting Shanks. Like, Mihawk's logic makes a lot of sense to me when it comes to Mihawk has never said anything to me that has made me look at him as a fraud. I'm gonna keep it real with you. He has never said any statements that made me look at this guy as a fraud. When it comes to the title and the thumbnail, the fraud thing, that's just a deeper narrative, which I'm going to talk about right now. Don't forget why Mihawk met Shanks on that spooky island, which people are thinking it might be God Valley, but who knows. Why he did that? Because he wanted to show Shanks Luffy's bounty poster. And then he does the same thing after Alabasta arc when Luffy and Zoro both get bounty posters. He came here for one reason, to hear the discussions about Luffy and Zoro. And then the whole situation of right before the time skip, Zoro bowing down to Mihawk. And Mihawk knows right away you're only doing that for someone else. That's the only reason why you're bowing down for someone, because your pride is too strong to do that. Like, you would never bow down to me. And that's facts. He's doing for Luffy. It seems like Mihawk really has high respect for Luffy ever since he met him in East Blue. Like, he really looks at Luffy as a guy, as a GOAT. I'm gonna keep it real with you. And we've seen the time and time again, and I'm gonna talk about that when I go into Marineford, because Mihawk has a lot of Marineford moments that have to be discussed. But it makes me think, is this the final hint of Mihawk wanting to become the Pirate King, or one of the final hints of him wanting to become Pirate King? This chapter has opened a book of craziness, guys. Now, of course, I have to talk about Marineford War, and there's a lot of controversial things, like Mihawk and the whole Whitebeard situation, where people believe that Mihawk, when he stepped to Whitebeard and talking about, I want to see the distance between me and Whitebeard, people believe that Mihawk is admitting that Whitebeard is stronger than him. And if Mihawk is admitting Whitebeard stronger than him, in that time, everybody believed that Shanks was stronger than Whitebeard. Is like the whole Mihawk and power scaling, is he below Shanks in power scaling? Now, I'll say this, yo. If you want a power scaling video, go to Drip Code. It's going to be a Shanks versus Mihawk power scaling video that's entirely different than this video. This video, I told you, is not about power scaling, guys. It's more so about the character Mihawk. I don't give a crap about how strong Mihawk is. I told you guys, I already believe with that viewer discretion, he is Yonko level. But I do want to say this. That moment led into Mihawk getting his sword, like he got blocked by Jozu. That has nothing to do with power scaling. That's a diamond fruit user, a top young commander. Jozu probably has a bounty over 1 billion berries. He's been with the Whitebeard Pirates for so long. He was there fighting the Roger Pirates. Jozu is a legendary pirate. Let's not lie about Jozu. But you have to understand, Mihawk not being able to cut Jozu, like, we all know that moment in Daz's Bones talking to Zoro, so what are you going to cut next? Diamond? And then Mihawk not being able to cut Jozu. There's a whole people, oh, can Mihawk even cut Diamond? Now I will say this, there's the whole situation of you cut what you want to cut. Mihawk didn't have the intentions of cutting Diamond, he had the intentions of cutting Whitebeard. And obviously that's not Mihawk's greatest move. But you have to understand, Mihawk, that was still an amazing slash he did, and Jozu blocked it. I think that was more so Oda trying to hype up Jozu than devalue Mihawk. So I'm going to give Mihawk a pass in that Jozu situation. And I talked about Mihawk being a proud loner, but he's just impressed by Luffy having all these people like Crocodile, who he knows that Luffy defeated Crocodile, and the revolutionary Ivankov, and Buggy, a former Pirate King crew member, and just a bunch of guys, level 6 prisoners, and Jinbei, the former warlord, all teaming up. And he even goes with Whitebeard pirates helping him. Like, Mihawk's looking at this guy like, this guy has an amazing skill. And Greenbow talked about it in the end of Wano, saying this guy's skill of bringing people to help him is the same thing Mihawk said. And I feel like that is the reason why Mihawk's saying is that because he knows that's a skill that is how you become a Pirate King. Like, you need the guys around you, the wings of the Pirate King, Zoro and Sanji. And maybe Mihawk never could able to get guys like Ben Beckman, guys like Lucky Roo, guys like Yasop, guys like Zoro, guys like Sanji. Mihawk has never had a second and a third guy. And even Crocodile mentioned it. You never really had anybody. You're a loner. So maybe Mihawk has struggled with that, and that's why he couldn't achieve his dream as Pirate King. I told you, it has nothing to do with power scaling. It could just be because of how the story and the characters are made up. Now, sticking to the Mihawk and Luffy thing, many people are going to be like, okay, Mac, you got to talk about how he said, sorry, red hair, I'm not going to, this sword knows no, like, pretty much no restraint, and then he pretty much doesn't defeat Luffy. Well, you have to understand, Luffy's the main character. Oda is not gonna, this is not a Eustace Kid and Shanks moment. He'll be like, oh, look, Eustace Kid was way stronger than pre-time skip Luffy, and Shanks one-tapped him and Killer. And you can even argue Killer, actually, it's true, Killer was stronger than pre-time skip Luffy. But I'm going to give you guys this. It's all about narrative. You know, Luffy's the main character. Luffy was not getting packed out by Mihawk that early in Marineford War. Now, I do want to say this. Mihawk did show crazy moments like cutting that iceberg, almost cutting Luffy's arms. Like, and Luffy didn't even want to fight Mihawk. He literally said, this guy's too strong. I don't want to fight him. There's a whole different narrative with Kid. Kid wanted to fight Shanks. So I do feel like Oda did give Luffy a pass, because if Mihawk is who we think the man he is, he should have one-tapped Luffy. He should have destroyed Luffy in pre-time skip. But it's storyline, guys. Can't forget that. This has that's what I told you. This video has nothing to do with power scaling. Like, you have to look at the story when you talk about characters, because there is narrative decisions that you have to understand. And then people say Vista coming out of nowhere. Now, this, I'll be honest with you, this probably is the one where it's hard to defend. Vista coming out of nowhere and taking over the fight with Mihawk. It's not that Vista is fighting Mihawk, because I can't lie to you, Mihawk wasn't even paying attention to Vista. He's literally looking at Luffy and discussing Luffy's ability and skill to bring people with him, around him. That's what Mihawk is focusing on. He's not even focusing on fighting a guy, a top young commander with known haki. Vista is a legit top young commander. Like, he is actually incredibly powerful. People have to stop underrating Vista. He's incredibly powerful. The Flower Blade Vista is strong. That's not the whole point of which is like disappointing in the Vista Mihawk thing. It's the fact that Vista, it says, yo, we should probably fight this, continues later on. And Mihawk's like, yeah, I agree. It is advantageous. But I'm just thinking, no, Mihawk should be to destroy this guy. There shouldn't be a later on when that situation. So that to me was the first time I was like, okay, wait a minute, yo, this doesn't make sense. Then, of course, this probably is a moment in which there is another reason why I don't think it's that bad. Of course, people talking about Crocodile, a guy who lost to East Blue Luffy, able to clash with Dracule Mihawk, the world's greatest swordsman. Crocodile, like, people are gonna be like, okay, we see, like, if that situation, Shanks would have Divine Departure, one tap Crocodile too. But I'll say this, Crocodile is underrated in power scaling. I think he's actually one of the more underrated characters, because Luffy had to fight him 3 times to defeat Crocodile. Don't forget that. And he didn't defeat Crocodile off of, how do I say this? He defeated Crocodile. You have to understand, he was able to bypass Crocodile with the whole water, blood thing, and Logie for the user and whatnot. But Crocodile, you have to admit, after that arc and then pull down, he definitely got stronger. And obviously after fighting Luffy, the guy who is going to become Pirate King, you're going to get stronger. And we've seen Crocodile tank hits like that Diamond Josu's attack, where I'm like thinking, okay, wait a minute. Crocodile can tank that hit, but Luffy in the East Blue is defeating Crocodile? Because that hit was way stronger than anything Luffy did during Alabasta. That Diamond Josu like tackle, like he's a football player. Come on, bro. So I will give benefit of doubt in saying Crocodile, that was a narrative. And even Oda actually confirmed it. Crocodile got defeated too early. He was never supposed to get defeated that early. So I will give the benefit of the doubt of Mihawk clashing with Crocodile. Because Crocodile looked good in that arc. He was clashing with Doflamingo, clashing with stopping Akainu from defeating Jinbei and Luffy. Like, Crocodile looked good, and now Crocodile is worth 2 billion berries. Now they're actually giving Crocodile amazing respect when it comes to this bounty. 2 billion berries? That's higher than any vice captain to an emperor bounty. Zoro, King, Katakuri, like, I can name them all. No one has ever reached that status, you know what I'm saying? So obviously, you gotta give respect to Crocodile. Now, I do want to say this. The final point I want to make to Mihawk and his goal of becoming Pirate King, you have to look at all the GOAT swordsmen when Mihawk was coming up. Back in the days, nearly over 20 years ago, when Mihawk was trying to become the GOAT, these were the GOAT swordsmen. There was Goldie Roger, who used a sword, the Pirate King, the world's strongest man. Kaido said it. He had no double ability. He just beat everyone with haki. Then we also have Rayleigh, the Silver's Dark King. Rayleigh, it was Yonko level in his prime. He was the Dark King, and he is a swordsman too, like his captain. And you have to understand, these are the 2 strongest Pirate King crew members. Then we also have another Pirate King crew member in the world's strongest samurai, Kozuki Oden, who had advanced Conqueror's haki and almost defeated Kaido if there was no interruption, the world's strongest creature. So if these guys who are all legendary pirates on the Pirate King crew are all the legendary swordsmen from back in the day, is it really that far-fetched to think that Mihawk wanted to be either become the Pirate King or actually want to make someone else the Pirate King? Like, it's not that far-fetched if that was an initial dream, because Buggy hinted at that. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not 100% confirmation that this is the thing, but I'm seeing hints at Mihawk failing at achieving something other than the world's greatest swordsman. So, look at the thumbnail, look at the title. Is Mihawk a fraud? He has a black blade, guys. Mihawk has a black blade. I do not think Mihawk is a fraud. He has a black blade. And why are you thinking, how big of a deal is a black blade? Look, you have to have an extreme amount of haki to have a black blade. We don't even know how you can get a black blade, but I'm assuming it has to be some sort of advanced Ryo, advanced armored haki, that's even higher than what we saw Luffy and Zoro doing in Wano. It has to be some disgusting advanced armored haki. Like, you have to understand that. Like, think about it. The only other guy with a black blade is Ryuma, the legendary samurai that defeated a dragon. And he had Shisui turn into a black blade. They called him the God Sword. That's what they called him. And he probably killed someone that had the same Dull Fruit as Kaido. And that Dull Fruit is amazingly powerful. The scales of it, like Luffy literally compared the Seraphim to Kaido's Dull Fruit. It's so durable. So I will say this, Mihawk's Black Blade automatically makes, in my eyes, he can never be a fraud. If you have a Black Blade, you can never be a fraud in my eyes. My whole thing is not power scaling. I told you guys this so many times. It's not power scaling that's making Mihawk a fraud in a sense. It's more so like, it's like that bear. Like, I'm poking a stick at the bear and telling him to do something. I know he can kill me, but I'm like, yo, do something. Stop sleeping. Stop lying around. Like, I just want Mihawk to have a chapter 1079 moment like Shanks did before he fights actually Zoro. If Mihawk just goes to the Zoro fight without botting someone legitimately strong, like legitimately powerful, I will be very disappointed. Honestly, I have to keep it real. I'll be very disappointed. Now, I do want to say this. There is hints that maybe him botting an admiral. If it's Fujitora, who knows? But he was the Marine Hunter. And I do also want to say this. People are gonna be like, okay, wait, Garp just recently did some crazy stuff, and that's where he's getting the respect. The same thing with Shanks. Shanks just recently did these things. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. Shanks was clashing with Whitebeard early on. Shanks was in Marineford clashing with Akainu and stopping the war and asked everyone. Blackbeard, after getting Whitebeard's done for, do you want to fight? And he said, no, it's too soon to fight you. Like, Shanks was literally having a Wi-Fi hockey moment with Green Bull. And then Shanks did what he did with Kid. Like, there's moments where you have to understand that. And then people say, what about Dragon? The reason why I give Dragon a pass is because Dragon's doing something that Mihawk is not doing. Dragon is going strictly against the world government. That is unprecedented. And if you're going strictly against the world government, you saw Fujitora said to Sabo, why? A revolutionary helping a pirate? Revolutionaries don't get involved in pirate business, yo. They strictly go up against the Marines of the world government. So I'm going to give Dragon a pass. And that's why I'm willing to give you guys passes. But Mihawk, we've seen you in Marineford. We've seen you so many times fight in battle. And of course, I do think Mihawk is a GOAT. I think he's him. But it's like that I told you, that bear. I'm poking a stick right now, and I want to see Mihawk do something. Because I kind of, after the last chapter, that's the only feeling I had. Like, do something. It might be reactionary and jumping the gun, but I have to give my honest thoughts on this channel. This is the One Piece channel where I do my One Piece takes. And if you guys like videos like this, tell me in the comment section. Get this video to 500 likes. But if you guys don't want me to do videos that are this controversial and everything, I will go back to making my regular videos where we don't shake the boat, we don't stir the boat, whatever that saying I'm trying to do. But like I said, click on the end screen right now if you want to see my chapter reaction, my full in-depth chapter reaction on the channel. Like and share if you enjoy, like and share only if you enjoy subscribe for more One Piece content. I'm the Legend Mac, and I'm gone.